Hi. So before we start the discussion for tonight, I would like to draw your attention to an issue that must be addressed. I was contacted by a female fellow who, from one of our past episodes, she received some unwanted and annoying messages from another fellow who said that he got in touch with her thanks to Funchayat. Given we all belong to reputed institutes like IIM and Funchayat does not share personal details of fellows, this situation, when we started Panchayat, it was really not anticipated. But now that it has, let's face it, we, in the strongest possible terms, condemn this sort of behavior. Panchayat is a common platform for all of us to come together, learn from each other's experiences, and grow together. Thus, we would like to request you to maintain professional decency in all your communication while seeking help from our panel members, past, present, and future. Thank you. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Fellowship Panchayat, episode number 24. And tonight, with the 24th episode, we will have connected 100 fellows across 100 districts posted in India, 25 states, and 7 union territories. So, this definitely calls for a happy occasion. And yeah, so tonight, to celebrate this occasion, we have with us three seniors with us. Phase one fellows, and definitely our mentors and guides, if you can call them. But still, so first of all, I would like to welcome from MGNF from Dantewada district of Chhattisgarh, Ashutosh Thakur. Secondly, from Meerut district of Uttar Pradesh, we have Ayush Nanda. From Porbandar district of Gujarat, we have Jazreen Deboo. From Pune in Maharashtra, we have Pankaj Patil. And finally, from West Garo district of Meghalaya, we have Meghan Kadam. So let's start the discussions for tonight. And firstly, I'd like to pass on to Pankaj.
Uh, Hello. So I'm Pankaj and I'm posted in Pune district of Maharashtra. So about Pune district, all you know that Pune is a educational and cultural hub of Maharashtra. So there are a lot of places where you can visit in Pune in any weather. Uh, 12 months of a year, you can visit anytime. There are the places you can visit in the Pune. So Pune is a tourist place also. And so एक है कि
It's like
पुणे
the
में
it's like the most
एक
coveted district. Like every single fellow, at least I mean, barring one
So
or two
before
exceptions,
joining the
every
MGNF, there was an informal group within
yeah.
ourselves, and everyone was asking who got a Pune, who got a Pune. And before that, I didn't join the group, and I got to know from a friend of Shubham Phalle who got selected and who got a Dhule district. So he said कि अरे ग्रुप पे सब लोग पूछ रहे हैं कि पुणे किसको मिला है, पुणे किसको मिला है, तू ज्वाइन कर ले ग्रुप और बता दे. मैंने बोला ठीक है, रहने दो. और उसके पीछे बहुत सारे कहानियां भी बनी है कि ऊपर तक पहुंचे तो पुणे मिल गया और ये बात. सो ऊपर से फोन आया सीएम ऑफिस से कि इसको पुणे ही देना है. ये सब फुल है बिकॉज आई वाज अ सीएम फेलो बिफore joining MGNF fellow, and I served in the Usmanabad district for almost 2 years. So I got an extension of 11 months after completing the 11 month in Usmanabad. So that's it about me. And पुणे तो सबको पता है, उसके बारे में कुछ बोलना कुछ नहीं. एक है कि हम एक एक दोपहर में 1 to 4 हम लोग सोते हैं, तो वो एक है हमारा खासियत. पुनेरी पार्टी.
Sure.
यस, एंड पुनेरी
Yeah.
पार्टी.
Jazreen?
Hi everyone, and thanks Vedant for inviting us on this episode where you have hit a century. Congratulations on that. And well, I was posted in Porbandar for 2 years, and Porbandar is one of the smallest districts in Gujarat. It's on the coastal border, and um, it's it's not one of the best connected places. So unlike Pankaj, there was no hype for my district, but I was pretty happy that I got it. One, that it's the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi, and there's a lot of history attached to it. And
Yeah.
second, because it was coastal, and since I'm from Bombay, I think the weather was you know very perfect for a person like me, because being near the sea is something that's special, especially to people who come from Bombay.
True.
So lot of small places to see, no great big attractions, but it's a really good place to get away sometimes, um, and enjoy the smaller pleasures of life. So
All
yeah,
right.
Porbandar.
Cool. Ayush?
Hi everyone, and thank you Vedant for having me here. So
Sure.
I was posted in Meerut district of Uttar Pradesh. So Meerut, as you might know, is also a district which comes under the Delhi NCR region. So it is unlike other districts. It is like one of the most connected districts in terms of connectivity is good from Delhi itself, and also is if we speak about how or the people or the culture of the district. So in Meerut, you will find mostly that because it is connected to Haryana and all that, so that Jat and Gurjar culture is basically prominent there. And then if we speak about the food or the places to visit, so there are few places, but I actually didn't find much of the places to like very. Uh, there are no hype places as such in Meerut, but yes, you can visit Hastinapur or other places such as which are like
Mhm.
had some historical sort of prominence. Of
The
sort.
1857 revolution revolt began from Meerut, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The
it
barracks
did.
of yeah.
Yeah. So there is one temple called Oganath Temple. From
Mm-hmm.
it is the exact place from where the 1857 revolt like started.
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but still, if you visit that place right now, it is you won't like exactly feel कि यहाँ पे 1857 का revolt या ऐसा कुछ start हुआ था. There's just a thumb on the backside of it, but
All right.
yeah.
So, has the historic significance of it not been maintained to this day now?
It
Given,
is, but not in true sense, I guess. They could
uh-huh,
have done.
right,
Or,
like
yeah,
Jallianwala Bagh, etc. They have,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, true. Megan,
Hi guys. Thank you for not just inviting me, but all of us here because it's sort of a mini reunion for Ayush and Jazz and I.
Yeah,
So thanks for that.
exactly, exactly.
And yeah, thanks that all of us are centurions together. Uh, um, Actually, to be honest, Northeast is a world of its own, and I was posted there in the Meghalaya state of Northeast India with West Garo Hills district particularly. When I'm thinking about it, this is a very extempore situation because outside Northeast it's a different world, and in there it was a distinct world altogether. Um, so one of the things which I can think about is that that place is a place which I did not know about at all in terms of its very
Mhm.
existence before I went there.
Mhm.
It was literally a computer code which put me there because the only thing I had chosen during my MGNF uh, phase one application was the language, which was English. And it so happened that English was the link language of Meghalaya, and my name was Meghan. I talk many coincidences, yeah. One of them being this. One of the peculiar facts about the district is that, of course, it is the CM's home district, Conrad Sangma sir's district, and therefore it is administratively important, even though it is not very well developed. On the other hand, it is a border district with Bangladesh. One of the longest borders of India with an international border is with that district, although a relatively peaceful border. But that also meant that during the 1971 Liberation War, it was a garrison town. So Tura, which is the district headquarters, was a garrison town. Now, this is a fact which nobody knew, including the locals actually. And now I'm very peculiar, like very interested why that is the case. So I feel that it is probably we'll have to look at military historians and we'll have to speak to them to know about these small oral histories or these specific events which made that place important. What else? Yeah, yes, within Meghalaya, there are three hills, Khasi, Garo, and Jaintia hills, and all three are different districts. Sort of, which were originally three different districts and which were further broken down into separate districts. And therefore, even though from outside we may think that Meghalaya is such a small state and therefore must be homogeneous, it is not. In fact, Northeast is more heterogeneous than the rest of the country. It is sort of a microcosm.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a nature's bounty, of course, as you all know. Please do visit. I still consider it my
Sure.
home. Being Meg's, it is my home. Yeah, that's
Sure.
all.
And finally, Ashutosh.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name is Ashutosh, and thank you so much, Vedant. So, I belong to Dantewada district, and I am sure that some of you definitely know about this district, uh, and not for good reasons. So, yeah. So when I got this district, Dantewada. Um, me too have a similar, image of a district like an LWE district, and it will be safe or not. But on the grassroots level, when I worked here, when I came here, it's a completely different scenario. Um, first of all, the Dantewada is known for the Shakti Peeth, Danteshwari temple, and
Alright.
the tourists. So mostly tourists visit this place for Danteshwari temple only. But apart from it, there are several places, tourist places. Um, there are so many opportunities of tourism here for, let's say, um, uh, if you want to want to visit a very soothing place, there are so many lakes, kind of lake things,
Yeah.
and mountains, so many um, waterfalls, full of waterfalls, and one of the largest and the widest waterfall of Asia, Chitrakoot waterfall. Also, it is in Bastar region, not in my district, but earlier it was, when it was with the Bastar district was attached, and now Dantewada is a completely separate district. So yeah, these are the things. Then apart from it, this is a tribal district. 80% of the population is tribal, and also food. If you want to taste exotic foods, tribal food, some kind of drinks that tribals consume. So I was saying that. Um, the scenario what we usually sometimes we read in newspapers, some accidents, LW issues, that is not the scenario. There are some places here in a very internal region, but the mostly the headquarter region, or the most of the blocks of the district, most of the places of the district is quite district. um, so yeah, these are the things. And
Okay.
there are it's a lot of opportunity to work. If you want to work in a development sector, there is a lot of opportunity to work. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
Ashutosh, I had a
and
question.
sure.
Sorry, Vedant. So in Dantewada, do you feel that there is scope for like tribal tourism or something of that sort, or things like
Yeah,
that?
there is a hope,
Recently
hope.
I've been reading about it, like tribal tourism or on those lines, कि वहाँ पे जाके you make a place where people can go visit and experience that culture basically. So have you done something around it, or like कुछ ऐसा चल रहा है क्या वहाँ पे अभी as of now?
या अभी अभी करेंटली यहाँ पे जो नए डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर आए हैं, उनका मोस्टली फोकस ये ट्राइबल टूरिज्म पे ही है. So there are several places which is unexplored, like Sadhara waterfall, and Dholkal Ganesh. It is a place, it's a hiking place basically, but mostly जो 90% यहाँ visit करते हैं, 95% people they don't know or they don't visit that place. So जो youth है, हाँ, हमारे एज के जो लोग हैं, उनके लिए दैट इज द बेस्ट प्लेस. लाइक द मोस्टली द जब अराउंड 21 व्हेन वी वर पोस्टेड, उसके बाद इन दिसंबर बस्तर में 7 बस्तर ब्लॉक सॉरी बस्तर डिवीजन में 7 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं. तो उन 7 डिस्ट्रिक्ट से फेलोज जो हैं वो यहाँ आए थे दंतेवाड़ा, एंड वी ऑल वेंट टू दिस प्लेस धोलकाल. इट्स एन अमेजिंग प्लेस, मतलब बहुत ही सुंदर प्लेस. तो बट ये अनएक्सप्लोर्ड है, सो मोस्टली पीपल डोंट नो अबाउट इट. सो ये सारी चीजों में अभी बहुत बहुत ज्यादा काम हो रहा है ट्राइबल टूरिज्म पे.
Actually, I was also मतलब during my monitoring visits कुछ ऐसे districts हैं MP में where I go and these are basically tribal dominant districts. तो यहाँ पे I've seen कि there is lot of scope around this tribal tourism concept, जहाँ पे बाहर से लोग आए and they can experience this culture and get to know more, and it also like can create economical opportunities for the people out there.
ट्राइबल टूरिज्म में तो है ही अपॉर्चुनिटी, लॉट ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी है, बट इसके अलावा there are very less number of industries. Like there is just one industry, NMDC. It is a Navratna company, but that is the only industry. तो इंडस्ट्री में भी हमारे पास में बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज है जिसको हम यहाँ पे एस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हैं. जैसे हाल ही में अभी इन 21, आई डोंट नो यू हैव हर्ड अबाउट इट दिस और नॉट, Denex is a brand, Dantewada Next. It's a garment factory basically. तो it is related to skill development. That's why I'm saying. इसमें बेसिकली क्या था कि एक पीपीपी मॉडल पे हमने एक इंडस्ट्री स्टैब्लिश किया जहाँ पे जो विमेंस हैं, जो ट्राइबल विमेंस हैं या लेट्स से नक्सल सर्वाइवर्स विमेंस हैं, उनके लिए शिविंग मशीन ऑपरेटर, ये जो ट्रेड है, इसमें इन्हें ट्रेनिंग देके इन्हें इस जो गारमेंट फैक्ट्री था इसमें इस्टेब्लिश किया गया, जहाँ पे ये लोग अभी काम कर रहे हैं. और इन वेरी लेस टाइम जो नंबर्स था विमेंस का, वो 100 200 से अभी 700 हो गया है. और जो एक इंडस्ट्री थी गारमेंट फैक्ट्री जो 21 में स्टार्ट हुई थी, अभी 23 में देयर आर 5 इंडस्ट्री. तो से ग्रोथ हुआ है. मतलब उसके पीछे रीजन जो है वो है बेसिकली जो ट्राइबल रीजन्स होता है वहाँ पे होम सिकनेस इज द बिगेस्ट इशू. होम सिकनेस इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम. लोग बाहर नहीं जाना चाहते हैं काम करने के लिए. बट अगर हम उनको यहीं पे अगर कोई अच्छा ट्रेड में अगर एंगेज कर देते हैं, लाइक सेविंग मशीन में जैसे हमने इनको एंगेज किया है, तो दे ऑल आर वेरी इंटरेस्टेड टू वर्क. ट्रेनिंग सब ले लेते हैं बट काम कोई करना नहीं चाहता. और बिकॉज यहाँ पे ज़्यादा इंडस्ट्री नहीं है, ज़्यादा बड़े इंस्टीट्यूट्स नहीं है, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ नहीं है, तो हम उनको कहाँ भी प्लेस करेंगे. तो प्लेस मोस्टली वी ट्राई टू प्लेस देम इन द अदर लाइक जो बड़े डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं, लाइक रायपुर है, दुर्ग है, बट वो वहाँ जाना नहीं चाहते. इफ दे हार्डली वो 1 मंथ के लिए देन दे रिटर्न बैक. तो ये एक कंसेप्ट अच्छा है विच इज जो बहुत ज़्यादा सक्सेसफुल हुआ पिछले 2 सालों में. It's very popular. Sewing machine operator is a very popular trade. They are very so much interested in taking training, and then they work there. And their salaries also, they start from like basic salary start from 4,800. Then after that it increase with their skill 7,000, 10,000 and 12,000 तक जाता है अभी फिलहाल.
Okay, cool. So I believe we all have learned where the districts and where we all are posted. So in the second part, let's move on to the projects that we have done, we have been engaged in even currently. And I believe Ashutosh already started, but I'd like to pass on to Jazreen first.
Oh, okay. So when we, at least when the phase 1 fellows, when we went into our districts, I think it was in the middle of the first lockdown that we
Yeah, pandemic.
went there. And initially it was very challenging to get the district administration to really focus on skill development, given that you are in the midst of a pandemic, and we are realizing the work that is required in building up health departments, and how do you create a readiness for something that you have never experienced before, and you don't know how the situation is going to change. So we did work. I would say that a major part of the first year would have gone in supporting the district in dealing with the pandemic. But later on we were able to get some projects off the ground. Interestingly, I was trying to solve for some certain challenges that my district was facing along the skilling value chain. So the value chain that starts with mobilization, counseling, training, and then eventually ends with placement. And after doing a deep study, you realize like the district faces issues at every level. The
Right.
mobilization may not be foolproof. The counseling system does not exist. Training is happening, but the quality is questionable, and so on and so forth, depending on which scheme it is, and how much interest that particular stakeholder is taking in implementing it. So one of the studies that I did was a youth aspiration survey.
Right.
And in that we interviewed a lot of students, especially from the ITIs, and tried to understand what their mindset is and what is the right way to mobilize youth. I mean, skill development somehow and even still is not a first choice for people. So it's really important that though the policies are very broad-based, the implementation has to be, you need to take a design thinking approach. You need to make it very
Right.
human-centric. And when I say human-centric, I mean local contextualization is required. So what we did is, after doing this, one of the things that came up is that we were able to classify the youths into 6 different like user personas. If I were selling a product, if skill development was my product, I would say that these are my 6 consumers. And then we kind of strategized that what is the best way to reach these 6 groups, and what can be good mobilization strategies. However, that was something that was somehow didn't get off paper, and it was not one of the priorities of the district. Something that we were able to pull off was that me and 4 other fellows, so it was a 5 district initiative that we started, and we wanted to create momentum on the need for career counseling and guidance. And we thought it's really important to start it at the school level, so that
True.
kids know what their options are, and they're exposed to more careers than what they observe in their close surroundings. And then the guidance and the tips to how you create a career plan and a roadmap, and how you keep learning at every stage. So our project was called Career Nama.
Right. And
And
I would like to say that I actually went through this and project in quite in detail, and then I sort of prepared a concept note and had presented to my district collector because it was really well done. So yeah, please elaborate. Go on. Sorry to cut
that's
you.
very good to know. So yeah, so 5 districts, and that was me, and the fellow from Bhavnagar was Gaurav, and the fellow from Rajkot was Hiral, and there was Janvi from Jamnagar and Saloni from Surendranagar. So all of us got together. We got a partner also, Quest Alliance, and Quest Alliance was extremely active in Gujarat, still is. And together we kind of created a training of trainers program, in which we targeted certain schools as pilots, and we started training teachers on how to give career guidance. That was also one thing that came out from
Wow.
the youth
Yeah.
aspiration survey. Like, one of the questions was that, who do you go to for career guidance? And like 40% plus students said that we would go to our primary teachers or our secondary teachers, and they would guide us. And a very less percentage, I would say that they went to their parents, or that they went to the district employment exchange, or to such places to get this information. So we tried to solve at the source, and we had a very great experience. We did 2 day trainings in all the districts, and later, while we were there and while the momentum was built by the district, the teachers actually went in the schools and implemented a lot of things that they learned in the training. And they still keep in touch with us. We have our WhatsApp groups and all. Um, Probably if we had more time, we would have,
True.
expanded it, beyond the pilot group. But still, that was one of the things that the district really supported us in. And also Quest Alliance, I mean, all the knowledge came from there, and it was very fulfilling to see that some project has moved in the right direction. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was a really inspiring project, and you guys have worked on some career counseling in schools. Now, I'd like to move on to someone who has entirely transformed schools as starting from the infrastructure itself. Pankaj, if you'd like to share that project.
Yes. So, uh, so I studied NEP, New Education Policy. So, and we came up with a clustering of school project. So in NEP, there is a clause 7 which speaks about a clustering of schools or resource sharing within the schools. So we came up with a cluster school at Panchayat, which is the first kind of demonstration in India after NEP on this clause 7. And I can proudly say that it is successfully implemented. Secretary and Educational Commissioner visited in June, And now this is becoming a state level policy. So we piloted that, and now in next 2-3 months, a GR by Maharashtra government will be there for a clustering of schools at state level. So this will be a evidence-based policy, first kind of NEP kind of policy after implementation of NEP in Maharashtra. So Maharashtra government just started implementing the NEP from this academic year. It we all know that it came in 2020, but Maharashtra government has started implementing from this academic year, and the first year will be of this cluster school now. So at Panchet, what we did, so Panchet, if you all know that it is a hilly region, it is around 30-35 kilometers away from the Pune city, and the schools, Jilla Parishad schools or public schools, which we say, are having a very low strength. So these schools are having a strength around 15, 20. Some schools are having a single digit numbers from grade 1 to grade 7. So the educational outcome, we did a survey for fundamental literacy and numeracy in level 1 to 3 on the 3 levels, and we found that in bigger schools having a strength greater than 100 or 150, the educational outcome is more. So level 1 is the student can read 2 words, letters, and 15 to 20 letters per minute. Then they can do a mathematical addition and subtraction of 2-digit number, 3-digit number. And level 2 and 3 are the higher version of this. So level 3 student can do mathematical processes like 3-digit, 4-digit addition, subtraction, multiplication kind of. So we found that around 60-70% student from schools having low strength, below 20 or 15, are on the level 1. So they know the basics, how to read, what are the mathematical processes and all, but they were unable to do that with higher numbers or with level 2 or 3. And if we compare these students with schools having strength above 100 or 150, so most of the students are on the level 2 or 3. So around 80% students from these bigger schools are on the level 3 or level 2. So we found out this gap in educational outcome, and we gone to the root cause of this problem, and we identified that this is due to the having low strength. So having low strength, and also these all schools are having single or two teachers. So from grade 1 to grade 7, a single teacher is teaching to all the students. So the educational outcome is very low. Then these schools doesn't have all the infrastructural facilities. So we studied different models like Delhi, Odisha ka 5T transformation school model hai. Andhra Pradesh has a infrastructural development model, school model, which they call Nadu Nedu school model. Then within Maharashtra, Sangli district has done a fantastic work in upgradation of the school infrastructures. So by studying these different school models, we identified 18 infrastructural points which are necessary to give a quality education to any students. So these involve a separate toilet blocks, a separate classroom, student-centric benches, a digital classroom, STEM labs, and many things. So these 18 infrastructural points we identified. Then we prepare a concept note with this school. We did a trial and errors. We travel on each route. So we consolidated 12 schools in a single school at Panchet, and we are providing a transportation facility to all these 12 schools, and these all 12 schools are within the periphery of 10 kilometers from the central school. So our traveling time is around one hour, 1 hour for a morning and 1 hour for evening. So we did the psychological survey. If student is sitting more than 1 hour, is that impacting on overall student performance and all these things. And we came up that initially we identified 25 schools, but the distance was too far. So we cut down that 25 schools to 12 schools because the traveling time was exceeding 1 hour. Yes, Meghan.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I just wanted to know, this idea of clustering seems very interesting. I mean, in terms of resource mobilization. But I was just wondering, how does it affect the teaching staff, or does it burden them? And
I will come on that point. So
Okay.
basically, we came up with a consolidation of 12 schools by studying all the transportation facilities and all the other psychological parameters. And now these 12 schools having strength and the central Panchayat school. So there are total 13 schools. So before a consolidation of schools, in these 12 schools, there were 74 students who were studying in these 12 schools, and there were 27 teachers who were teaching them in these schools. And now in the Panchayat cluster schools, we are having a strength of around 147 now at this
Oh,
moment.
teachers.
No, students, 147 students and teachers. We identified 13 teaching staff, which is similar to a private schools. So if we all know that in Zilla Parishad schools, there are no art teacher or sport teacher, but we hired art teacher, sport teacher, then we hired a computer teacher. So including all these, now we have a staff of 13. So 12 teachers plus one HM headmaster. So this is the now staffing partner, and those who are excess. So from 27 we cut down to a 13.
Correct.
So those who are excess, already there is a scarcity of teachers in many schools. So we transferred these teachers to other Zilla Parishad schools.
But as permanent teachers or contractual?
So all these are permanent teachers. So what we did a capacity building of current teachers to art teacher. Those were having interest in art, were having interest in sports. So we did a capacity building through diet. So there is
mapping and
yes. So diet is a district level institute who do capacity building of
educational and yeah.
yes. So and for this whole project we did through CSR because we wanted some flexibility in the designs, school infrastructural designs, and myself being a civil engineer, I did whole planning of the building.
And politician.
And we tried to make more buildings such that their the use of conventional energy sources should be near to zero. So we try to keep more ventilation, more lighting in the schools, and other things. We tried all these things. Also, clustering of school suggests that the LKG or the Anganwadi should be in the premises of schools. So that concept also we did here. So Anganwadi is in the same building. So one classroom is a Anganwadi. Anganwadi has a separate a toilet block or kitchen shed inside the room itself. So जो Anganwadi separate है उसमें
the same compound you mean?
Same compound in the same infrastructure only. Single classroom is converted for Anganwadi point of view. So and
I believe Jazreen has a question.
Some question.
Yeah, Pankaj, great initiative. What about vocational subjects?
I will come on that.
Okay.
So all this project we did through CSR because we wanted some flexibility in designs and also speedy work. So that was the reason. So we approached different CSR partners, and Janki Devi Bajaj Foundation constructed a building of having cost around 1.5 CR. So 12 classrooms were constructed from for this, and each grade has a separate classes. So before in the separate schools, all grade 1 to grade 7 students were studying in the single classroom. So now each grade has a separate classroom, separate teacher, and subject-wise teacher. So from grade 5 to grade 8, we have a subject-wise teachers. For example, science has a separate teacher, maths has a separate teachers, and they are taking the classes as per the schedule. So we did that. Also in the so 1 to 8 ये 8 classroom तो use हो गए. Then we converted one room into library and indoor activities room. So we did a physical library there and also a digital library, both a digital library with support of Amazon. So Amazon cloud use करके वो हम लोग उधर किया, and a physical library with one of educational partner Thinkshare Foundation. Then we for occasional education we are teaching all these students 21st century skills with a support of Pajam Foundation. Also we approach Lahi. They are also taking some Lend a Hand India, and they are also taking some classes for occasional education there. And Pajam is taking the classes for computer programming and basic computer knowledge. So, and also the school has a STEM lab for science. So, and for transportation, we approach different school buses manufacturers, Eicher, Force Motors, Tata Motors, and Force Motors donated us 2 school buses having a capacity of 45 seats each, and we running the operation and maintenance cost will be bared by a Zilla Parishad. So Zilla Parishad is a local body, self-governing body. They have a funding. So Pune, in Pune, the funding is not a problem. Just came up with idea and that can be implemented. So वो है CSR है, government funding भी बहुत सारी है, and then strong political support भी है. कुछ भी करो मतलब within the parties strong support है, instead कि बाहर जो भी है. लेकिन पुणे में the Pune got developed due to this thing only. Within the parties एक उनका consensus है अच्छे के लिए, and they are having a strong political support. So that's it about this Panchayat.
Cool. You have another project to discuss, or let's move to Ayush?
We will discuss this after Meghan and Ayush other projects.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you can continue if you want. I mean, you clearly have
It looked like Ayush emerged from heaven, yeah. Okay, now it's
Power outage, yeah. So it's been raining for like 2 days continuously in Bhopal. So we are having frequent power cuts. Worries. So
okay, so I'll pass on.
Yeah.
Go on.
So coming on to my project, so as Jazreen was pointing out, we when started in Meerut, when I started in Meerut, so it was in the middle of a pandemic that we started. So very first thing that I got to do as an MGNF fellow was working in the war room, basically, of the COVID itself. So we were like planning what needs to be done, and me myself like basically was engaged in the data crunching, like how many patients are coming, which areas are having more cases, or uh, where there is need to be where the focus should be for a district collector, which are the focus areas or red zones in the district. So all that sort of activity we used to do. So in a day, from all the talukas or all the district blocks, we used to collect the data that how many cases have been reported, and based on that we used to give a proper report to the district collector in the night itself, and based on that he used to take decisions, or he used to mobilize the resources that were in hand. So this was the very first thing that I was engaged in while at Meerut district. Then secondly, I think you all might be knowing that Meerut is also known as the sports good hub for the country. So
Right.
various sports like cricket bat, cricket ball, then football, and several other different sports goods products are being produced at Meerut itself. So initially I tried to like explore key what I can do in this specific sector, because there is so much going around in this specific sector in Merit. So I used to like visit various small units, MSMEs, basically, which are into production of these sports goods. So I kind of realized that there is a sort of a nexus going on between the high end companies, and then there are this low level workers who actually used to do the real hard work and were getting paid a very less. So that's why I decided ki let me pick one product. So I started with the cricket ball. So initially, yeah, so cricket ball, I got to know that it is completely being made in their houses. They used to establish a unit either in their terrace or something of that sort arrangement, and the complete cricket ball was being prepared in those sort of units. And if I were to give an explanation of how a cricket ball is prepared, so initially the skin is being procured from some of the vendors, basically used leather. So it has been procured, then it is processed, then finally the skin is being colored, the red color that you might see in the red ball, basically. Then we sort of cut those skin into like four pieces, and these are leaf size pieces, and then from that four pieces the cricket ball is finally made whilst by stitching, and there are other like processes involved. So this is how a cricket ball is manufactured. So it really fascinated me, so I started with this project. So initially what I understood was that there was this group of women who used to stitch these cricket balls, and they used to make a complete product out of it, and then they used to sell it to a different vendor, or we can say a middleman. And through this middleman, this used to go to the larger industries or the big corporates, which then finally sell these balls to all over the country, or even internationally. But the people who are actually engaged or actually doing the groundwork, that is these women, for getting a very little remuneration for their hard work. So I started with a concept of like consolidating the efforts of these women. I started with a concept of creating an enterprise for these women, where with the support of district administration, we can come up with a small unit for them, and then through district NRLM fund, we used to like we can set up a unit, purchase them some basic machinery, and then district administration would support them in marketing those products also. So it started pretty well, but it took in between. We also had breaks due to the COVID itself. The second wave hit, then the project got delayed. Then finally, it took off in the last phase, basically when I was about to leave the district. Then only the final enterprise came up. Then I think throughout this project, I got to learn a lot about the ground level workers, how exactly they work, and what are their real problems. Like yeah. When I used to like, I want to share an incident here. कि एक बार ऐसा हुआ कि like I traveled with one of the district officials to one of the villages which these women used to reside, and there before my being there, a previous day, some other district official have come, and they have misbehaved with these group of people or some way or other. So they thought ki, I am also from the same group. So the whole guys got they rallied around me, or this was the first experience for me कि मतलब in a panchayat sort of if you have seen that series called Panchayat, जहाँ पे एक बंदे को सब gang up कर लेते हैं, and they are like कि नहीं you and all that. So
अब हल्ला होगा I know.
yeah. So आपने ऐसे कैसे बदतमीजी कर लिया and all that happened. Then I very calmly then made the progress कि नहीं, I am from a different group and he is from a different group, although he is from the same department with the official that I'm currently am, but still we have nothing to do with those people. So these sort of incident happened, but still after work of like a year or so, we finally took off this unit, and now through a center in it is a district support center only, where we keep these products, and these women sell their products. So
So
that is
which are
how.
the big brands? Like for football, I know for sure that all World Cups, all the footballs get manufactured at Karachi
Yeah, yeah.
for Adidas. So how prominent is Meerut when it comes to cricket balls? If we are to be specific, like
So
are there big brands like Kookaburra, SS, or
this
etc.? They
SG cricket ball, correct?
SG.
SG you might be knowing. So this SG
yeah,
ball
yeah,
is
SG.
being used in the Indian
Oh,
subcontinent, basically.
uh-huh.
So if you look at the Indian test, in Indian test you use this SG ball itself, the
Okay.
ball. So it is being manufactured in SG only, but other than that, there are uh, many more small brands that work for this SG, and they sort of make the actual product, and then SG basically white labels
Uh-huh.
the product, do
Yeah.
the testing, and then sell it out to the other places. And the
Cool.
international quality that is produced by SG itself, but the local
Mhm.
products that is being outsourced to other small
Ah,
vendors.
right. Right. Okay, cool. Let's pass on to Megan. Megan?
Actually, before I say anything, I think Ashutosh already gave a very good introduction of how a tribal district is typically like.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I just add on to that I think I mean Chhattisgarh being a fifth scheduled state still has some civilian control over a lot of affairs within the district comparatively to the northeastern region because it's under sixth schedule, particularly Meghalaya, not the whole northeast. Um, I would say that so in such a scenario, the typical mainstream interventions don't really work, at least in the short run. So there was this constant debate between, my collector and his officials that like this typical, there is this in economics, there's a debate called Sen Bhagwati debate, like what should come
Uh,
first, growth or development. And while for the rest of the country, you would say that, development should come first. I think in a place like Northeast, particularly in Meghalaya, where there is literally nothing, like I'm not even exaggerating in terms of infrastructure. I think a pro-growth approach is what um, is the way to go, in my experience. So with that in mind, my collector used to always say, that the highway is a highway to prosperity. You know what NHAI has
yeah.
the restriction, because everywhere once you make a road, that's when the hospital will have staff. Otherwise, the hospital will always be abandoned because there's no road to go to the hospital. So you will need, a SUV as an ambulance, which you can't buy. So you'd rather first make the road, and the people will come later. Like they'll automatically make the basti around it. So with that in mind, I think so we started with the basics. Of course, like also Jazreen mentioned, we were in the middle of a pandemic. So the first year went, personally for me, the pandemic wasn't such of a big deal because Meghalaya literally had one entry and one exit for the entire state. And with all the entire activity being concentrated around Shillong, my district was relatively away. Quite literally, social distancing was there by design. So people didn't have to stay apart because the two houses had more than 2 kilometers gaps between them. So yeah, so first year I would say went in understanding where am I at? Is this even what I thought? My idea of what Northeast is and what it was very, very different. So I think I was in that. But having said that, we graduated to like very micro interventions, like starting the like a coordination, like a control room sort of a place, which we called as a district skill development cell at the district level. Because if you remember in the skill development policy, there's a provision for starting a district nodal skill center at the district level.
Right.
Now we realize that none of the districts had that, and therefore all of the interventions were actually top down, and even the so-called demand-driven interventions on paper were actually artificially created by the state officials. They came to the district, and just like how these employment melas happen, particularly, so that's how it started off. I'm not saying that melas were not beneficial. Of course they were, but as Ashutosh mentioned, like there's a high attrition rate, amongst a lot of locals. So that was a major concern. So that's why we started this district nodal skill center, which we called as a skill development cell. Actually, because the district size was very small, and the population was very low, we a lot of, like how Jazreen mentioned, like they did a career nama sort of a intervention. We a lot of fellows, actually all of us, all the fellows of all 12 districts came together, and we sort of worked on this. And luckily, unfortunately for me and another district called, which was an aspirational district, like under Daryl, if you know Daryl, he's our colleague. In his district and mine, we were able to secure funding. So in my district, we got the funding through another entrepreneurship program, which was run by the CM at the state level. So we sort of funneled that entrepreneurship fund of the state level into the skill development initiative. In another district, the aspirational district funds were used, and to operationalize it, we used the district mineral fund. And that's also, it was sort of a jugaad, you can say, to make it work. And from what I know, it's still working. So it is definitely more than a stopgap arrangement. So I would think personally, like in my head, if at least like 100 people out of the 1 lakh population of my district are impacted positively by that intervention, I would say, I would like to think that it's a success. Yeah, so nothing more to say in my district, honestly, about my work.
Okay, cool. Given that you already started it, let's try to understand the last part of the initiatives. Okay, finally, Ashutosh.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one special project to tell you all. I hope you all know about this aspirational district projects, which when we were asked to make in back in March 2022. So the ministry has asked us all the 118 aspirational districts to make a proposal of 2 CR.
2 CR, yeah.
2-3 ideas.
Ashutosh, you're not audible.
Can you can like I get
Is
I
there
guess
a disturbance?
Yeah. If you are comfortable, it's okay if you turn off your camera. That would actually help the audio.
No, there is a network issue here. So
Yeah, you can
now am I
switch off your
audible?
camera. You are audible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is special project. So this we were asked on back in March 2022 to make this a proposal of 2 CR, and then we submitted this proposal on 21 March 2022, and then after the several amendments and all, this got passed in September 2022. So currently I'm working in this special project. This is about livelihood generation in wooden toy making. So I suggested this project proposal because already the people who are here in Bastar, they're already engaged in wooden work. So they do the heavy wooden work of carving the scripts, all the scriptures and all. So this was the reason to suggest the project, and this got selected. Yeah, and we were sanctioned 1.49 CR for this project. So it started. Then we floated EOI, expression of interest. And then after expression of interest, we got 2 of the people selected. One was from Banaras, and second is from Chennapatna. So Chennapatna is known for its wooden toy. It is in Ramnagar district of Karnataka. It is known as land of toys. So I have also talked with Ayush, if I remember, regarding this Banaras, what is the scenario of Banaras toys and all. So yeah, so this was this project, and then we have selected 2 training partners. The work has been started. We are currently we will be doing the mobilization work, and we will first register all these trainers and trainees in the Skill India portal. So this all the paperworks and this all the formalities are going on currently. This will start in October 15, and it will the first part will end in January 2024. So basically, the project is about training the candidates in wooden toys, basically wooden toys, and 200 candidates will be trained. 120 will be placed in the industry only, where the all this work will be done, and 80 will be self-employed using this yojana going on called Gram Swarojgar Yojana. So I can't tell the outcome because it has not been started, and I will this the second project is about CMART and REPA, and I know, and Vedant will tell it better, that the other MGNFs of Chhattisgarh already have mentioned about the CMART and Rural Industrial Park. So this was the second
Yeah,
and
it's
third
about
project.
SHGs
Yeah,
to
yeah.
digital products with the market, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
CMart
yeah.
is
Rural
quite
Industrial Park
interesting.
is Rural Industrial Park is basically making establishing an industry, a minor industry, micro level industry in the block, in every block of the district.
Right.
So per block there will be two rural industrial park, and in Dantewada there are 4 blocks. So there will be total 8 rural industrial parks. So basically, rural industrial park, what the MGNFs have done, I will tell you that finding the what are the demand of the district. What is basically demand if you are exporting poha from different district, or let's say different states like Andhra or Telangana. So if we'll see that if we can make it here in our district in Dantewada, if there is raw material available or not. So that is about then accordingly we will select the product, and will make it in the will establish a industry. Machines will be brought, and second was the CMart. So whatever we will make in a rural industrial park, that will be sold in CMart. And third, the most interesting project is Nav Gurukul, which has been already started. Nav Gurukul is basically training 150 girl candidates in a coding program, and guaranteed placement will be given after 18 months of training to the girls who will be trained. In the initial phase, we'll do the mobilization. We'll mobilize the girl candidates, and the basic test will be taken of maths and English, and then basic interview will be done to select the candidates. So that has been done already.
I believe
That
my Microsoft was involved in some other district. I don't think it's yours, but Microsoft was involved in providing digital skills. Have you uh, received some support from such partners?
from Microsoft.
Yeah. Microsoft has a program for imparting digital skills. I believe somewhere in the Northeast. I think Arunachal Pradesh, they were actively involved. I don't know about your district.
No, in my district, this has not. This is a separate project. It has not been involved. So yeah. So now the girl, we have selected almost 90, and 60 of the candidates are left to be,
Okay.
mobilized, and all the basic test and all. So 90 are taking training, and if we will see that if they can take they will be educated enough in 10 months or 11 months. 18 months is basically, it will last for 18 months. If they are
Right.
not trained, then
Okay.
so yeah. So this is this project. Yeah, these 4 projects was there in which I was working.
So
Ashutosh,
cool.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
On the lighter note, you mentioned about poha. So how prominent is this poha thing there? Because I am from MP, so poha is a prominent
Yeah.
food here. So how it's
The part of Maharashtra where I come from, poha is like a staple diet.
yeah.
My hometown is famous for it,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
why.
Same
Okay,
is
okay.
in Bhopal.
Yeah,
So
but then Dantewada, we don't have this product, because Dantewada is the least irrigated district of
you were mentioning
Chhattisgarh. It
about
has
poha industry coming up or something like that. Sorry if I missed that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, because we are not self-reliant in this product. So we mostly export this product from different other district, Andhra and all, Telangana or other districts. So so yeah, we thought that this should be done, because in all the ashram chhatravas and all the residential schools, there are several different residential schools for the Naxal survivor childrens and Naxal survivor families, like Astha Vidyalaya, Lakshya, Nishtha Vidyalaya, um, Kasturba Gandhi. These all are the schools in which residential training is provided, and so there is a need for this. Some of the products like X also. Back in year 2015-16, X was also imported from Telangana.
Okay, so it is
So
not as
this was
now, but you are like
no.
trying to introduce it.
It was not prominent in our district. So to make them self-reliant, we are opening this poha industry. It's a micro industry, so that we can get self-reliant. So yeah, this was basically the idea behind the rural industrial park.
Right. Any more questions, or we move on to the final part where it's like an open session. If you have interesting experiences, embarrassing moments, fun memories, everything, it's open now. If you guys, yeah.
Who's starting?
Anyone. No, it's an open session. That's what I said.
From the looks of it, Jazreen has something to say since a long time.
No. I think Meghan, you should begin.
Okay. So I think I'll just keep it to funny, because there were a lot of embarrassing moments.
Go on.
So yeah, so in terms of funny, I think it was on the very first day when I joined. Two actually. One was when so as I mentioned before, that Meghalaya has 3 different hills, Khasi, Garo, Jain, and all 3 speak different language, which are not similar to each other at all, and therefore the link language is English, pretty much like India. So Shillong is in Khasi Hills, and we came via Shillong, and then when I came to my district, which is in Garo Hills, when we stopped along the way for lunch, the driver who knew Khasi also knew English. The lady who was cooking food knew Garo and also knew a bit of Hindi. So I became the translator, because the taxi driver did not know Hindi and the lady did not know English. So that was my first experience of this very funny thing, because and it was like they hated each other for interacting with each other more than interacting with me, because I was the outsider, so I was not in the game of rivalry, So yeah. Another thing would be I don't know how to put it, but I think it was more with regards to like a sort of a cultural shock or shyness, how I would say. So my district officer, district skill officer, who was a lady on contract, was a person who I had to report to initially on the very first day. And I was having a conversation with her, and she kept talking about work all the time. And when I asked her, so what's here apart from work, I'm just trying to know her. So she kept talking about her family. So I found it really weird. So I just casually asked her, can we go have some coffee, or eat something after work, like I want to know more about this place. And she just looked back at me, and she just like and she's like, do you think I'm that kind of a girl? Yeah, so it was a very correct. So it was that's why I'm saying, like a culture, so to speak. And I think I'm pretty sure Ashutosh has similar stories, because one of the things which was a very distinct divide between a tribal non-tribal population was eye contact. So normally when we do eye contact, it is seen as a sign of confidence, whereas in a tribal society, typically, at least in Meghalaya, it was seen as a sign of rudeness, and therefore people typically did not look into each other's eyes or faces. They looked down and spoke. That was a normal practice, whereas for me it was very weird. So yeah, those were a little bit of funny, embarrassing moments which I can share on camera. Yes.
So with
Meghan,
regards to Meghalaya, yeah, okay, sorry.
Meghan, I recall one incident where you almost stuck without water at.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So let's not go there. I think a lot of fellows were involved. I think we need to ask we need to ask permission from others. But yeah, I mean, yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah.
We can do it after the recording stops. So
So one thing I do recall about Meghalaya, it's like NFHS 5 so survey nikala tha. And then state-wise it was count like how many sexual partners people have had. And
correct.
Meghalaya had the highest count,
Yes,
9.1.
yeah.
And people in my group were like, let's go to Meghalaya. I'm like, "Dude, तुम्हारी वजह से उनका count कम हो जाएगा, वो क्या है?" But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, so that's the thing. Like in a tribal society, actually, on a serious note, like they don't have a concept of marriage. Actually, they have a concept of cohabitation. And actually, tribal societies are very, very equal societies. So they do not treat men, women, or anyone from other genders equal, like unequally. They do not have that distinction at all.
Even
So, like,
matrilineal societies are
yes,
prominent.
yeah. In Meghalaya, it's a matrilineal society. But even in non-matrilineal, like patrilineal societies among tribals, it's not that people have this hard distinction of of gender roles, like mainstream gender roles. So this idea of marriage is mostly has come in the later period with Christianity, and so they have this clash of between their cultural practice and their religious custom, sort of a cultural, this. Yeah, so it's a
I mean,
mishmash.
some part of it was documented by Ramchandra Guha,
Yes.
Savaging the Civilized. Yeah.
Yes. Correct. So that's what. So, and another thing. So one interesting thing to sum it up would be one of the professors I was speaking to at Nehu, which is a Northeastern Hill University in Shillong, and I was asking them about if there are any anthologies or historical accounts of whatever practices happen in Meghalaya or Northeast in general. And they told ki, Meghan, you need to understand that entire India, history is written about whole of India, but about Northeastern part, only anthropology is being written. So we are still at anthropological stage. So that is the distinction, if you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Got it.
We haven't gone
That's quite a deeper point. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure Ashutosh should agree with his district as well. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I agree.
Pankaj, Ayush.
ऐसे एम्बैरेसिंग कुछ नहीं है. एक मैं मेंशन करना चाहूंगा कि I got a good support, a mentor support. So my mentor was Ayush Prasad. He is now collector and district magistrate Jalgaon. We got transferred last month only. But 2 years he involved me in each and everything. I have been involved in skill development, in rural development, with collector office, with revenue department. So there is no department where I didn't work. So kind of that. And also he gave me an opportunity to work as a CSR lead. So there is no such kind of department in government or a separate section at a district administration CSR department. So here in Pune, we started a CSR department, and we did in last 2 years, we did around 80 crore projects in health, nutrition, education, environment, and skilling. So, so this is, and also on pro bono basis, I'm working with district administration Usmanabad as a technical advisor for 2 projects, Khawa cluster development and goat cluster development. Also a public-private partnership expert on a CSR committee of 4 districts, including Pune, Usmanabad, Kolhapur, and Jalgaon now. So he involved me in everything, and that gives me a confidence to work for different districts also. So he connected me with his batchmates and other officials of other districts whenever possible. So last 2 years are like a decade in my life in terms of learning and other things in the growing phase. So it is kind of a decade. So these 2 years can be compared to a decade of my last decade, in
I
terms
thought
of
it was
learning.
that boring. I thought it was that boring. Only 2 years seems like 10 for you.
No.
So I happen to be like sort of like a bad luck charm. Not charm is not the right word, but still for IAS officers, because see, earlier we had a municipal commissioner, so I sort of had proposed uh, plastic
Our
upskilling
municipal commissioner was
project.
Aman Mittal.
Let's not name officers, but
Yes,
so
sir.
I had prepared a project and sort of had a discussion. I presented it to him, and 3 days later he got transferred. Okay, last वो 2022 के October में हुआ था. And then I got engaged in some other district level के छोटे मोटे काम थे, other events and all kept coming up. And then there was Mission Life, where a circular economy का project was supposed to be proposed. I proposed, my idea was selected amongst the top 75 across the world. And then so I presented this idea then to the district collector. He was like, "This is a huge thing. Why didn't you bring it to me before?" And 2 days later, this guy got transferred as well. So yeah.
It was by design.
Okay.
Transfer wala like has been common across.
All right. If not, then we can close the session for now.
आयुष तुम्हारे तो होंगे ना embarrassing.
Ayush, come on.
What is this?
The very first day हुआ था actually, like very first day when
Go on.
I got to Meerut. So I was in UP for the very first time. So I basically belong from Madhya Pradesh. So I went to the district, basically CDO's office. So I was a bit late, basically. So I just rushed from the train station to the office itself, hoping कि she would be waiting for me कि 9 o'clock for the meeting time. She would be waiting and I'm late and all that. So I just went with all my bags and all that. So my stuff, I straight went to the office. So on day one itself, I was looking like an alien with all those bags going into an office and all that. Then I waited for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. So in the first day itself, I waited for 4 hours to meet and introduce myself. So this was the first day experience for me. And then after meeting waiting for like 4 hours, I finally met her for 3 minutes. In that I just introduced. For the first time, it was the first time experience for me. I was seeing a collector or IAS officer in front of me. So it has its all aura about it, and especially when you are in UP, so the district collectors, IIMs have a different aura sort of. So it got me right in my face, and I couldn't speak a word in front of her for the very first time. So she was like, "Who are you? Why are you here?" And I just had a letter in my defense, which we got from the SSDM to introduce me. So I finally presented it to her. This is the letter. Then she read the letter, and then she got to know, because I was so terrified. I was like sweating like anything and all that. So I couldn't speak a word. So she was like, "Give me that letter," and then she understood this is the case. Then she finally get me in touch with some other department and all that. So this was the very first experience. And then initially, gradually, my rapport with the CDO went good, and I started working on that cricket ball project under her only. But again, that guys might have also faced in your district that she got transferred. Then again, the new a new guy came in, so again we have to start the project from the scratch. So that's all. And also around, I guess, the cultural difference, the cultural shift that I saw traveling from MP to UP. So I thought initially I thought it is also a Hindi headline, so there might not be a much of a change. But when I got to, I went there and I like interacted with people and also the food choices and all that. This was a very different. I would like to mention a one specific incident here. Here in MP, we use like we call मूंगफली dana. We call मूंगफली. You all might be knowing from Maharashtra मूंगफली को क्या बोलते हैं. Seeing dana. But there in UP they call it as a seeing dana or something other. So when I asked for mungfali in a shop, so they gave me like badam or something like that. So I was like, what is this? And also one more incident ki I asked them ki give me like a pouch of refined oil or something like that. So they gave me like this sarso oil, and I was not pretty used to that thing. So there were various food choice difference also and cultural difference also, which I got to realize when I actually went there. So I think same sort of experience you might also have in your districts.
Yeah, we all have. Yeah. How often do you get to see the violence that is notorious for, the gun violence and all? Because it's almost like Meerut, Ghaziabad, that whole stretch is, or India ka Mexico, we can call it.
Luckily, I didn't had any such encounter. Just one encounter that I mentioned कि गाँव वालों ने घेर लिया and they were like beat you up and all that. Just one encounter, but not guns and all. Although I used to hear these stories running around while there, but I myself didn't encounter any such event.
Cool. So yeah, let's wrap it up for tonight. Yeah,
Vedant, I have one story and काफी embarrassing था. So that was the 7th or 8th day after my posting. There is a livelihood college concept in Chhattisgarh. So we all MGNFs were asked to sit in that livelihood college where all the trainings and everything happens. So for the first week, I was sitting in collectorate office in the skill development department. So after some of the days, some few days back, a restaurant was opened in Dantewada. So for that, we had to do some, like the skill development has to do some of the recruitments there for the receptionist, on attendants, and ये सब चीजों के लिए, all that hotel management thing. So I got a call on the 8th or 9th day that एक interview is going. We are taking interview for the receptionist post and attendance post. So you also join us and sit with us and take the interview. So I went to livelihood college and initially or that time I was not very particular about what I dress and how I dress and all. जो भी सही लगता था, I just like t-shirt or shirt, whatever. I just wear and I go to the office. So I went to the livelihood college. The interview was already started. They were taking the interview, the AD, skill development, then principal livelihood, and all the other peoples. So outside the room, 2-3 all the trainers of livelihood college and the operators, they were sitting, accountants and all, they were sitting outside. So I went there and they were not knowing that there some MGNF fellow has been posted here. So just I went there, I sat, I greeted all of them, and they were thinking that I was there for the post of receptionist or for the. So I went to near the room, and the principal livelihood, who was the principal, he came out and he told that, sir, please come and sit with us. And they all were shocked that why the principal is calling him inside. So later on, I was not aware of this incident. Later on, the operator of skill development, she told me that this was the incident. They were thinking that you were there for the post of receptionist. So this was very embarrassing. And from that very day, I was very particular about the clothes, what I wear. So yeah, this was it.
You were wearing t-shirt and jeans, right? And let me tell you, there was a
yeah, initially.
we had a job fair in an ITI. Office ने setup किया था. I was not largely involved in it. So, but still, like वहाँ पे formality तो गया था, and I was wearing a gray color का shirt and navy blue
Okay.
trousers. Okay, formal trousers. And when I reached there, I realized, oh shit, that was the uniform for ITI college. so, and so when I was roaming across, like just I was checking out कि like कौन interview है. Sir आओ,
Okay.
sir नहीं actually आओ बैठो है हमारे पास position. No, I don't want one.
You know what?
Okay.
I'd like to share one story about Meghan.
Okay.
So this happened during the fellowship. Meghan came to Gujarat to meet us. Meghan, was it during Diwali or
Yeah,
Ganpati only?
Diwali.
Acha.
The day before Diwali, this happened. You're talking about the Prerna's house thing, right?
So Meghan came to meet us in Gujarat, and he was being so weird. It's like we checked into there's a lot of us, and then we checked into an Airbnb, and Meghan is getting excited looking at the tiles. क्योंकि वो इतना time North East में रहा था, they don't have a culture of having floor tiles. And
Oh,
then
right.
he was so excited that he's come, and we were asking him, Meghan, कहाँ जाना है? And Meghan बोलता है, मुझे जाना है supermarket. Supermarket देखना है मुझे बहुत time बाद. And मुझे वो trolley चलानी है. And he is getting so bloody emotional about a supermarket shopping experience. And that's when I realized all these experiences that we are having in all these different places and cultures, each one of them is so unique and so beautiful in its own way,
Yeah.
and I mean, it is something very different. I mean, it's something very different. We might not have gotten a degree out of it, or any kind of certification. And some places people don't even consider it as work ex, but it's very immeasurable what we have got out of this experience, and it's very hard to actually tell people. But in a group like
Right.
this, where we
Yeah.
can totally relate with
Each
the
other.
kind of grind that we have been through in the 2 years, and only we know that what kind of challenges we have faced and how we have kind of influenced without having any authority, and how the smallest of projects needs the biggest of efforts. So I think it's something, it's experiential learning, and it's something that I will really cherish.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, I
Meghan's
couldn't have said
supermarket.
anything better than that. So, even on a concluding note, that's such a beautiful way to sum it up. So, yeah, let's wrap up the episode for now. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys.